Hello, Fabulous Libra. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of December 2018. Looking at life and love. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. What an amazing month it is. I am calling this the divine wrapping up because it is this month that will bring to the end two major retrograde seasons. And as we get to the very end of the month, for New Year's Eve, Uranus will be standing still in the sky. And in the very first days of January, we'll begin to go forward. And that means that all planets will be direct for the first 2 months of the year. This is a really big deal. This is a sense of beginnings, of moving forward, of fresh energy and a fresh possibility that I think a lot of us are going to be grateful for, are going to love. It is going to allow us to truly feel like we have stepped into a new year, and it's going to feel like a brand new year for a lot of people out there, and that includes you as well. Now, it is this month, as I said, the divine wrapping up that is going to bring to the end two major retrograde seasons. One is your ruling planet, Venus retrograde season. Now, as we start the month, Venus is direct and will be in your sign at the very beginning of the month, but will very quickly leave your sign, but not without a little bit of a burst of energy and a little bit of a burst of awareness. And that is because as we start the month, at the beginning of the month, Venus in your sign will stand across the sky from Uranus. Now, this is going to bring with it some epiphany, some moment of clarity into yourself, into what really matters to you, into your values, into your money, and of course, matters of love as well. And I'll talk about that in just a little bit. But then Venus will very quickly change signs and will have, in the middle of the month, one of its last defining conversations as part of this larger retrograde season with Saturn before, right around the 18th, leaving shadow and thereby ending the entire Venus retrograde season that we've been in since the beginning of September. So this is especially important for you, being it is your ruling planet, but also this is going to represent for you a real sense of knowing who you are in a different way and knowing what matters to you in a way that you hadn't before. But also I'm seeing this as decision time into how it is that you are going to place a value on self, on self-esteem, the place of possessions in your life, the value you're going to place on money and how you earn your money and how you spend your money. So there's clarity and mature decisions along these fronts that ultimately move you towards greater self-respect. The other big retrograde season that is going to come to an end is Mercury retrograde season. So it is going to be right around the 6th of the month that Mercury officially goes direct. Mercury will meet Jupiter in the sky for their third and final contact right around the 20th, and then Christmas Day leaves shadow. So these are the big days, the major days, but it is especially that day of Mercury meeting Jupiter that I think is going to be especially important. Jupiter, of course, is newly in a part of the sky for you that has to do with communication and the power that you have to express yourself and how it can garner you great favor from others. Now, it might feel like this isn't as great a power as you would like early in the month, thanks to a new moon, and I'll talk about that in a moment, but at least once we get you 3 weeks into the month, it is going to be an amazing time of synchronicity and a time when you could find yourself in the right place at the right time, connecting with the right person, and it just makes all the difference. It is through mind level connections that all kinds of opportunities open up for you. And just when you doubt it, it shows up for you, especially 3 weeks into the month. So that is going to be an important time. Any kind of important phone calls or communications, especially where it is that you felt like things have been going a little bit back and forth or taking one step forward and then 2 steps back. It is going to be this final meeting of Mercury and Jupiter that will help you find a clear way forward. Now, as I said, you may not be sure about the power of Jupiter in the early part of the month, but it is just a moment. And that moment is because of a new moon. Now, this new moon is happening close in the sky with Jupiter. So it's harnessing all that power of possibility. but it is also speaking with Mars and Neptune. It is that connection with Mars and Neptune that does suggest there may be some sense of a little bit of doubt or a little bit of uncertainty, or wishing that you could be more certain or be more clear or be more confident in what it is that is possible for you and in your ability to speak for yourself and advocate for yourself. Keep in mind, Mars and Neptune are moving through a part of the sky that has to do with your daily life and the people who surround you there. And so one of the places we spend most of our time has to do with the workplace, right? And our coworkers and clients and customers. It's these people where you want to be a little bit careful of what you're asking for and also what you're sharing. It would be a good idea to hold back a little bit, and also just keep in mind that these people in particular, the information you're getting might not exactly be accurate, might not exactly be clear, whether that's intentional or unintentional. And so if it is that you are hoping for clarity or an important conversation, or even hoping for advancement of some kind, if you can avoid the days exactly around the new moon, it'll probably be a good idea. If it is that an opportunity is presented to you at that time, just take it with a little bit of a measured response as much as you can, knowing that some details might not be clear right away, but they will eventually become more clear. I would also take this into consideration where it comes to information about your health. If at all possible, I would avoid any kind of health-related testing around this new moon, because some of the information you get may not necessarily be accurate. And especially where it comes to knowing where it is that you are in terms of your well-being, you want the information to be as accurate as possible. But for all that, it is a powerful time for you to start to connect with your own inner voice and start to consider what it is that you uniquely have to say. Some of a little bit of interesting information may transpire through a sibling, cousin, or neighbor. And again, all these same rules apply. You just want to be a little mindful that all the details may not be in, and to pace yourself to the best of your ability. But for all that, great time to get in touch with your unique voice in the world and refine it and move forward. As we get a little later in the month, right around the 22nd is when we will have a full moon. Now this full moon is happening at the very top of your sky, a part of the sky that has to do with career and social standing and life purpose. And this can be a part of the sky that very much asks you to look up and consider your legacy, consider what it is that you're creating right now. With this full moon, the interesting thing here, the characteristic here, is that this full moon is basically what astrologers call unaspected, meaning that it's not making any major connections with a mathematical precision to any other power players in the sky. And what this suggests is that there's a lot of inspiration at this time. There may be a sense of fruition and culmination, maybe a project coming to a close, or a greater understanding of what it is that you really feel you're meant to do. At the same time as this, there's also a sense of a beginning, because this is a full moon at what we call 0 degrees at the very beginning of its sign. But how to actually apply that, to take that out and have that connect to different areas of your life, how to move forward with the realizations or the changes that are happening now, well, that'll be revealed a little bit more slowly as we move forward, and particularly once we get into the new year. But at least for now, this is going to be a time of profound personal truths at that. Now, it could also be at this time that some interesting information is revealed around a boss. It could be that someone in a position of authority leaves the company that you work for, and it is not necessarily something that you know what to do with right away. It's sort of like up in the air, like, okay, this person's leaving, this is how it is, but who's going to fill in? That's not going to be apparent immediately. However, whatever ends up transpiring at this time, whatever feelings you are having as well, just pace yourself and know that the time for real forward momentum is coming very, very soon, especially once we get into the new year, which at that point will be like a week away, right? Just a little over a week away. Where it comes to matters of love, I touched on this a little bit thanks to the Venus retrograde season, and you will feel like a lot of the learning where it comes to matters of love come full circle right now, and you will understand what the last few months since the beginning of September have meant to show you where it comes to matters of love. Now, whether that's self-love, whether that's the way in which you speak to yourself, or the love that you experience in the world through others, platonically or romantically, all of that is highlighted with this energy. Now, if you are someone who is open to meeting someone new, I would say with this month, it is very much rooted in, your lessons in love are very much rooted in your sense of self-value and your sense of self-love. That is going to be very much on the forefront as you interact with new people for most of this month, especially right around the beginning. However, just know that you are starting this month with an energy of surprise. And I think that this is going to be a real moment where you realize the dynamics of what has been going on and what you've been meant to learn in the process. And if you are someone who's just getting to know somebody, it is going to be at the beginning of the month, the very beginning of the month, that you are getting some very important insights into this person. Now, what do you do with it? Well, how you are going to move forward and what you want to do with it is going to find its way to you as we get to the middle of the month. And for those of you in an established bond, I feel like early in the month, there's some honesty that needs to come forward for both of you, but also some clarity. If it has felt like there's been an issue that you've been going back and forth on, or even just you've been busy or partner's been busy, at least you'll feel that sense of a shift of energy as you start this month. But that sense of reconnection and deepening commitment will find you mid-month. What I love about this month for you, it's got to be Venus retrograde season coming to an end. Venus doesn't retrograde too often, right? And so when she does, about every year and a half or so, it tends to be a notable time, especially for you, and a time that isn't just about where she's retrograding, but what is happening within you on a level of self-identification and on a level of soul. And what is happening with Venus retrograde season tends to speak very powerfully to the way that you understand yourself. You have gone through some powerful learning and it's almost over. And when it is over, when that Venus speaks with Saturn just before switching into new gear and moving out of shadow, you are going to feel that change. You are going to feel that shift. And it is going to feel like you have stepped into new ground. And I think that you will find it is a ground that you love very much. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this every week by logging on to nadiyashah.com. Sign up to be one of my superstars. Superstars get expanded exclusive video scopes each and every week, unlimited access to special horoscopes, and more in the superstar space. I look forward to meeting you there. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.